Alright, here we go for another episode of Rusty Collins Comic Book Recap and Review. Got 11 comic books for you guys this week, so I will hustle through to try and keep this as short as possible. So, without any further ado, let's get right on to the night's entertainment, sir. Alright, first up tonight from Marvel, we have X-Men Red #1. This is written by Tom Taylor with art by Mohammed Assar, Ives Korniga. Yeah, sorry guys. So, anyways, this is the #1 issue from Jean Grey just being resurrected. The team consists of a bunch of people I don't even know. I don't know Gentle. I don't know Trinary, Honey Badger, New Wolverine, the chick Wolverine, X-23, Namer, Nightcrawler, Jean. This issue starts pulling at the heartstrings, man. It has a mother trying to kill her daughter because she's a mutant. There's a baby whose powers manifest in infancy under extreme stress and almost kills some people. And Jean has a new approach and a new vision on how to execute Xavier's dream. So she establishes this team and talks to Wakanda and Atlantis, obviously, and a bunch of other people, and gets them to back her, and she goes to the UN with this proposal, like, hey, I want to do this new thing. And they don't really give too many details, and they grill her on it, and she leaves Congress, and as she's leaving Congress, the congresswoman she was talking to comes up and starts going all, like, evil and, like, demonic, and starts talking with all these, like, bad omens, and then her head explodes. And the UN thinks that the mutants killed her, so they have to bail out, and it's a really rough start to this whole new thing now. And it reveals Cassandra Nova at the very, very last page as the villain, and I feel like I should know her, but I don't. I looked her up. She's like a mid-villain from my Gap that I don't have, and I don't know why the name seems so bloody familiar. I feel like I should know this lady, and I just can't place her, but I only got the first issue because I just wanted to see how it was. I'm actually going to pick this up on a monthly basis. I'm going to see where this goes. This was a lot more interesting and a lot better than I thought it was going to be after the team reveal, because I don't have a lot of interest in the team, but I have a crap load of interest in, like, Nightcrawler and Jean, and this played out well, so we'll see where it goes. Alright, up next we've got Star Wars #43. This is written by Karen Gillan, Salvador LaRocha, Guru Effects. So Leia and Queen Trios in this comic make an alliance, where Queen Trios is like, I'm going to do exactly what the Empire says, but I'm also going to screw them over and totally help you guys, because they've given me the bone, and I got a bone to pick with them, so I'm going to basically join the rebellion secretly. And Leia's like, word! Now they have ore to make a fleet. That's where this alliance is important. You see Han display leadership for the first time in the rebellion, so to speak. He pulls off this, like, daring mission where they destroy that giant ore crawler with the help of Queen Trios, obviously. And there's a person who's like, I gotta stay behind. And Han's like, I'm not leaving anybody behind. And he ends up, like, crashing through the window of this thing and, like, having them jump on the Falcon. And that was really cool. And that guy that Luke fights was probably the best part of this, because this guy's got, like, cybernetics, and he's, like, shooting fire and talking crap to Luke. Like, I don't understand why these blasters, when you Jedi can deflect them, you can't deflect fire. And Luke's like, alright. They go to Hangar Bay, and Luke tricks this guy to getting near an ion torpedo, and detonates the ion torpedo and fries all the electronics. And he's like, cybernetics, impressive weapons. And then Luke just punches the guy out with one punch. Like, this huge, massive, hulking guy is, like, over half cybernetics. When you hit him with ion, he's a joke. So Luke beats him without actually having to beat him, and I thought that was pretty clever. And yeah, everybody gets together at the end on the Falcon, and like I said, they have these crazy big splash pages where people are jumping onto the Falcon, and there's some gorgeous art where everything just falls apart and dies, and you know, it's just a great, awesome adventure, and it ties up a lot of loose ends as far as they got the rebellion people they wanted on the planet to join. They now are doing the secret rebellion alliance with Queen Trios and then the Ore Barons now. So, because Queen was like, I'm fulfilling my quotas, but we still have an excess, and we're mad, so we'll give that excess to you. I'm the queen. We'll do whatever the pip-lip I say. And, yeah, ended up nice, and we're, I think, moving on to kind of a new chapter in this. It shows a nice little everybody flying away Star Wars movie moment. So, Star Wars Consistently is an amazing comic. You should check it out. It is freaking great. Alright, we have my one indie book, Boom Studios Met Cadet U #6. This is done by Greg Pax, Takeshi Yamazawa, and Torona Farrell. So as we saw the last issue, one of those little aliens was in their training facility, and it turns out there is not one, but like a massive mob of them, and the kids are about to get overwhelmed. Mind you, these are children who've passed like simulation tests. They've never seen combat, and one of the pilots gets injured, and the boys kind of cower. You're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And I loved it because it was the girls who just trashed these things. I mean, they jacked them up pretty bad with like broken sticks and stuff, and they realize there's more of them than they can handle, and they go to run away. And the little Chinese mom of you has like all these security passes and stuff, and puts everything in lockdown and saves them in the med bay. But time's short because these things are breaking through the walls, and there's a lot of heroic moments where like there's other people trapped and they go out of their way to save them. So it's very wholesome and happy in that way. And the mechs find out what's happening, and the mechs kind of come to life and go save the kids with no pilot, no initiative. They show up and help. And the very last battle, everything's going good. Like, they're kicking butt and they're going to survive and everything's great. The government shows up and cleans out the rest of them. And the very last panel, man, did it take a twist, because they show up and they're like, so what are we going to do now? And they're like, oh, you must understand. There's no more mech cadet school. And they just eradicate the training facility. Just completely destroy it. Leaving just the mechs and the kids in the courtyard. So what a twist, like out of nowhere. I know this is supposed to be just a mini-series that they extended out, but they're really kicking butt with this. I'm loving this comic. It's so much fun. It's like every great anime smashed into one with twists you genuinely don't see coming. Alright, already off into the DC stuff. Hanna-Barbera, Snagglepuss #2. This is done by Mark Russell, Mike Freehand, Mark Morales, man, everybody's got like the same damn name. Yeah, lots of other people, because the art varies through this. This comic, I finally had to remember some history during the Cold War when they had the Un-Americans Committee, and they were actually like prosecuting people for being communists and everything. That's what this is revolving around. That's the commentary this is reflecting. My bad, totally spaced that out. So Snagglepuss in a previous one-shot issue had already been summoned forth and told, you need to make wholesome American stuff, basically propaganda, to help fight the communists, to inspire people to not fall victim to their ways, because America's been paranoid for a while now. And Snagglepuss is like, no, I'm an artist, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to express myself, so he continues to build his career. They bring in a number of people that I totally forgot about, like, you get Augie Doggy, Snagglepuss, I can't remember the hippo's name. They go on a couple more panels, and you get to meet the octopus guy. Oh no! Okay. Octopus, yeah. They start bringing in some random people from the Snagglepuss show. Like, this is back in the day when I was a kid, but I'm vaguely remembering a lot of these. Huckleberry Hound, they reveal he's in New York because he got caught having a gay affair on his wife and kids, and she threw him out, because, mind you, this is like the 60s. Snagglepuss runs into an old associate of his who also had decided to buck the government, and she basically tells him that if you don't cooperate with the government, they'll just make sure you don't have a job anymore. And he's like, pish posh, the government can't do that. This is America, it's the land of the free. And the comic ends with him getting a summons to be put in front of the All-Americans Committee. Or the Un-Americans Committee. Snagglepuss hereby ordered to appear before the House Committee of Un-American Activities. There you go. So, he's going to get brought before the court and probably told he's making propaganda. Good story, it's been fun. Really, really quirky. Very strange. Fun. The backup story in this, the Sasquatch detective story, was almost unbearable. This is the first thing I've stumbled across from the Hanna-Barbera stuff that I just... It was painful. It was so painful. Alright, Jetsons #4. Another Hanna-Barbera book, obviously. This is done by Jimmy Palmiotti, Pierre Brito, can't be that, Alex Sinclair, Dave Sharp. So this one's pretty quick to the point today, because George can now read minds, in between him blabbering and street codes of bad fortune or situation. Word gets out that the world's going to end in 60 hours, and the press gets a hold of it. And Jane gets chastised for revealing the information. She's like, my husband could read minds. And they're like, lady, you cracked up. So there's a little layer of drama there. George's boss comes to him, on the other hand, and reveals that he has a spaceship that can go off into space and keep people cryogenically frozen to kind of reboot the human populace somewhere else. But it's only got 7 spots, and it's only one ship. And 4 of the spots are taken by him, the assistant, and the 2 people who built it. And he's like, George, there's 3 spots for your family. And George decides that the 2 kids and his wife will get the spots, and he's going to stay behind on Earth. You see a little bit more of the monster in the ocean rolling around, eating cities, and they kind of touch on it a little bit, but not a whole lot. And yeah, Jetsons is one of those books. I'm going to have to like reread the whole thing from start to finish, because it's not that I'm not liking it. There's so much to it that you really have to pay attention to little nuances and details and tiny things, because you'll miss stuff. And those are the best books, but the worst books at the same time. They're the best books at the end. They're frustrating books as they're ongoing. So I'm still giving this a thumbs up, but I'm still going with it because there's no reason not to. It's been perfectly fine. Alright, next we got Batman number 40. This is done by Tom King, Joelle Jones, Jordi Belair. As we saw, Batman and Wonder Woman are covering for the Gentleman, and the Gentleman is with Catwoman to go see his wife. Catwoman realizes that they're there for years when he's in our time for minutes, and gets all kinds of like, crazy mom when you're late for school, making this guy hurry, making this guy rush, like, come on, we don't have time, go, 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 knowing that Batman is with Wonder Woman for years and years and years and years now. And they almost make a no-no at the end of the last issue, and she makes him back out of it. And they just fight, and they keep fighting, and they keep fighting, and they both are like keeping each other going as they lose hope, and the other one gets them back up, and the other one loses hope, and they get the other one back up, and they kind of have this teeter-totter effect. And the Gentleman sees his wife, and they have a very charming, sweet moment, while Catwoman's like, come on, hurry up, man, let's go. He goes home, they come back, Wonder Woman's like, you got a good man, I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of him, rolls out, and Catwoman asks him, she's like, were you good? And he's like, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't good enough. Catwoman's like, well, we can deal with that. So their relationship's just fine, so to speak. I know at issue 50, finally, they've announced they're actually getting married, that wedding's happening, and the Joker will be involved. So, oh boy, Tom King, keep it coming, buddy, because this has been amazing. And that wrapped up not how expected, but exactly as it should have. So, good job. Alright, next we got Batman White Knight number 5. This is done by Sean Murphy, Matt Hollingsworth, Todd Clean. Yeah, a couple of people. I have to talk really fast because there's so much that happens in this book this week. Holy crap. You see Batman and Nightwing can have a fallout over this GTO, the Gotham Terror Organization unit that they've got going. Batman, by the panel, starts proving he's more arrogant, more wrong, and more ridiculous for this context, okay? Mind you, this is like an alternate reality, so to speak. This is not our canon Batman, so whatever, I'm fine with it. That's the point of this. He goes to the original Harley, and is like, I've come to you before for help, you need to help me stop the Joker. And she's like, I helped you in the past because you were right, but you're wrong this time. He's a different guy. This is a different approach. You're the one who's out of line. Batman completely overreacts to the situation, bails out. Neo Joker and the Mad Hatter come in. You see their plan kind of evolve a little bit more. They go to Wayne Manor, not knowing it's Batman, but go to Wayne Manor with the mind-controlled Poison Ivy, who uses plants to smell differences in the air. Yeah. And find a secret room that Bruce Wayne legitimately didn't even know about, and find some pieces of information in this study that show Batman's family has ties to Nazis. So, again, context of this universe, not canon. Keep going. Bruce Wayne obviously pretends like, oh no, I'm being burglarized, until the cops show up. The cops show up and it's Nightwing and the GTO. They take off after Neo Joker, who's this new Harley Quinn. And the plan starts working. They've got these, like, souped-up Batmobiles each, like, you know, Punisher cars almost, and they're, like, actually getting the upper hand, and it's working, and even Commissioner Gordon's like, holy crap, this plan's actually passing out, and it's actually going the way that it's supposed to go, and things are actually getting really successful, until Batman shows up, and Batman totally makes a butt of himself and botches the entire operation and causes tons of damage, and Harley gets away and pisses off everybody so bad that there actually is an arrest warrant out for the, quote, he's a super criminal. So Batman is now a bad guy in this, and he's way over the line. He goes to Mr. Freeze with this picture, because this picture has his dad and Mr. Freeze, and he's like, start talking. Mr. Freeze is like, oh, okay, Bruce. And then you see Neo Joker and Mad Hatter approach this giant machine, and they're like, alright, things are about to really get going now. So, like I said, there is a lot happening in this, but this comic, as far as like one of those standalone comics that happens in the DC universe, it has been so freaking awesome. Holy moly. I like seeing the fall of Batman in the proper context without it being like shoehorned in there in a bad way. So, top notch. Alright. Bombshells United number 11 by Marguerite Bennett and Stephen Bryan. Pretty short and sweet to the point this week. You got Talia Ghul, a Shazam with no power little girl, Batwoman, Renee Montoya, and Cheetah against Black Adam, who has his power, this freaky, crazy Minotaur, and then Cheetah is kind of like just schizo back and forth all over the place. He resurrects his queen. There's a lot of fighting and drama. Jason going over, like, what's it mean to be alive? Should I be alive? Should I be dead? What's going on? You know, the side effects of him being alive are Batwoman has, like, forgot about the rest of the world and just focuses on him and how she should be saving other people, not just him. And like I said, he resurrects his queen, Isis, which I thought was a funny name for this in the context of the world. So Queen Isis and Black Adam, and she calls him out for being the complete opposite of everything he was ever supposed to be. And she teams up with the girls and gives him the beatdown and beats him. And the comic ends with, again, Jason like, we're not supposed to be alive. This pool is evil. And Jason convinces the Minotaur to kind of just give up on life because it doesn't need to be there. It's a corrupted soul, and like frees him. And then Jason and this Queen Isis at the very end of it are like, all right, we're gonna like walk off into the pit, basically. So they, it's not the best comic, but it's so wholesome and cute that I just can't stop reading it. So, like I said, the Bombshells original was way better than Bombshells United. Bombshells United's kind of more cutesy, I think aimed at teen girls as opposed to Bombshells was aimed at adults, but meh, it's okay. I'm not gonna hate. Alright, Justice League 38. This is done by Priest, Marcos Zantucci, Alex Salazzo. Yeah, oh god, I'm so sorry, people. I'm so sorry. Anyways, so I'll have to go over this super fast. You see a Flash save a astronaut who's trying to dock with the watchtower, and it goes horribly bad, and finds out that the laws of physics don't apply in space, and you could run with the speed force without anything to grab hold of, and almost dies of exposure, but saves him and the astronaut. At the same time, you also see the rest of the Justice League members get together while Flash is making a fool of himself in space. Decide that Batman has far overstepped his reach. He's got way too much going on his plate. He cannot be the chairman of the Justice League, chairman of Justice League of America, which they just found out existed. He's also working with the Gotham Knights in the Belfry and everything that's going on in Detective Comics. Plus, he's got a marriage coming up. Like, he's just got way too much time, or way too much stuff going on, and he can't possibly run the Justice League correctly. So they all get together and decide that Superman needs to intervene with him because they're best friends. Superman does, and Batman gets super butthurt about it, and throws kind of like almost a temper tantrum, but not quite. Like, it fit Batman, but it was Batman's version of like, I don't want to play with you. But then he's like, fine. Last thing then, I'm going to name a successor. And they're like, you don't need to go this dramatic with it, Bruce. And he was like, no, you misunderstand. And he calls Cyborg as the leading chairman and leader of the Justice League now. So Cyborg at this point is now the leader of the Justice League. Flash didn't die in this foolhardy space adventure, which I thought was great. A buddy of mine, like, chills down his spine reading it. It was hilarious. But, yeah, so, yeah, Justice League, just fine. Keep going. Alright, Superman number 40. This is done by James Robinson and Doug Mandrake. So, new creative team, I'm pretty sure, starts at the Fortress of Solitude with Superman and his son John, and they're essentially celebrating their own personal holiday of the death of Krypton, which I thought was kind of strange. And as they're doing this, they get an alert on one of the computer systems that Superman has set up that another planet, conveniently on the exact same day, just different years, is going to suffer the same fate. And Superman's like, I'm going to go take care of this. And John's like, well, I want to be part of this, like, cultural experience, essentially. And Superman's like, oh, bullocks, all right, kid, let's go. And they have a nice, gorgeous art page of the two of them taking off with their breath masks, because John doesn't have the powers quite yet. He's only half Kryptonian. And they get to this planet, and it's seahorse people, which I thought was really cute. Like, little seahorsey people. And, they're like, hey, you're the leaders of this planet, and they're like religious zealots. And they're like, it's God's will, let the planet die, and screw the people, because it's what God wants. And Superman's like, that's not okay, like, no, like, that's not how ethics work. And they go to run away from this whole endeavor, and they get saved by one of the only scientists on the planet, and he straight calls out, he's like, yeah, scientists are basically viewed as evil, terrible things, but I want to save the planet. And Superman's like, well, we want to help you save the planet. And they take off with this seahorse scientist to go save their planet. So apparently this planet dying is not a fixed point in time, such as Krypton dying. And yeah, we'll see where this goes. It was just kind of a cute little beginning of an adventure with the father-son. So, alright, last comic of the night, Swamp Thing Winter Special. This has got a Tom King story in it. Yeah, you know it. Art by Jason Farbach, and also by Brad Anderson and Deron Bennett. This story, oh man, it messed my head up a little bit. So it starts with Swamp Thing and this little kid, and they're running away, and little kid's like, you saved me from the monster, thank you. And the Swamp Thing's like, I don't remember. And constantly, the whole time, he's like, I don't remember what we're doing. And the little kid reminds him, like, you saved me from the snow monster this morning, we gotta keep going, the snow monster is gonna kill us. And you see him do stuff like rip his hand off and start a fire with it to keep them warm, and he's keeping this kid alive. And the little kid is pulling on the heartstrings. He's just such a sweet, innocent little child. And a bear almost gets him, and he has to kill the bear to keep the kid alive. And they find some hunters, and the hunters are crazy because of the snow, and he has to kill these hunters to save the kid. And the kid's like, because my family's dead, and you're saving me and keeping me safe like a father, you can be my dad, right? And constantly the Swamp Thing's like, why are we walking? Where are we going? And the kid's like, oh, remember, there's a snow monster. You saved me from the snow monster. There was a snow monster. And about halfway through this, I was like, I think I know what's going on. And the art in this is just incredibly beautiful. I mean, just page after page after page of just gorgeous, amazing, well done, fabulous art. And it gets to the end, and the Swamp Thing is dying. I mean, he's seriously in bad shape. And he finally puts it together. He's like, I only get this sick when I've been detached from the green for a long time, like years. And you're a little kid. You would be dead. You are the monster. And the kid's like, no, I'm not the monster. And again, just gorgeous pieces of art filling this entire book. And the kid's crying, and the Swamp Thing's like, no, you're definitely the monster. And it's so sad, because finally he gets to a point where even he's crying, and he kills the little kid. But you see the snow melting and everything coming back, and it ends with him resurrecting and going back off into the swamps, because that little kid was the snow monster. Man, did that screw with my head. Stories like that really are fun, and that was so incredibly well done. The second half of this book is really peculiar. Len Wein, creator of Wolverine, creator of Swamp Thing, a legend, absolute legend in comic book world lore history. He passed away a couple months ago. And in here is a comic from him where there's no words on it. It's just the art, because he was going to do something but then fell sick and it didn't happen. But to back the art up so you actually know what's going on in this issue, so there's just a bunch of blank pages, there is what he wrote down. So basically, if you want to read this issue, you got to read this paragraph, so to speak. Go to that page, put them together in your own brain. And they call out in a very beautiful tribute in this why they did it that way, and that was because no one could write like Len Wein could write. And I know I've read some of the old stuff in my dad's collection, and the guy had just an amazing gift. And they didn't want to shortchange him by putting his words in somebody else's way. They knew they couldn't do that, so they gave everything that he had done and just was like, here you go, and released it. So that was a gorgeous tribute to one of the great people of the comic book world. In the back of this amazing, incredible issue with Tom King, because as I said, I can't even deny a fangirl the crap out of this guy's writing right now. So yeah, okay. Another episode down, taken care of. I just got to put it together, and everything will be savvy there. As I said, next episode will be. There's a lot of comics coming out. A lot of comics. So I'm going to split it into 2 episodes. I'll be breaking it down by Marvel and DC. So next episode, there'll be a 2-parter to save you guys your sanity and time management skills a little bit better. And hopefully by the time I get this one edited, it's under 30 minutes. So thank you guys for your support, and I'll keep seeing you as I have been. Have a good one. Bye.
Did you get it?